it's me, Roku. We are going to talk about TaoBao. There's going to be a long video, I'm sure, I'm so sorry, but it just represents months of work, and I'm not even kidding. I want it to be as exhaustive as possible, and not as exhausted, but I'm exhausted too. Oh, that's weird. I just moved in, so My journey started about 6 months ago, and this is a summary of this painful work. I really hope this video will be useful for you. Please share it to your friends, share it to everyone, because that's a lot of work. I'm sure many of you think the same. At first, I didn't understand anything on this website. I was completely lost. I don't speak a word of Chinese, and it was really complicated. I couldn't create a damn account. I've literally tried for days. And that's why I decided to optimize my use of this website. You can tell I don't have a job. This is my job, optimizing TaoBao. So I've created a list of TaoBao shops, and it's in the description if you want to have a look at it. At first it was complete nonsense, but it took me like several weeks to make it clear and great and amazing. So I don't hesitate to suggest some shops that I don't have in my list. It's changing all the time, but if you notice that I've forgotten something, just tell me, don't hesitate. Stop honking! Honk every time I'm talking. Now that I have explained the basic thing, just let's get into it. So the first thing was to create an account. I found a tutorial which is basically how to create a TaoBao account when you don't speak Chinese. Even following the tutorial, it was really impossible, so don't waste your time on it, and you won't even need it if you use my techniques. First, I highly recommend you download the TaoBao app, and you won't need an account for that. For this video, I use a coordination of my desktop TaoBao, mobile app TaoBao, and mobile website TaoBao. So you will see that I use both my phone and my computer because it is not easy to browse only using the desktop version. So basically I made 4 parts for this video. I hope it will be clear. I don't know if it is, but it's just the way I did it. So it's first, how do I discover new items and new shops? Then, how do I find the shop when I have the item picture? Third part is, how do I visit shops, browse? And last part is, easy tools I made. So the first thing is obviously, how do I discover new items and new shops? If you want to search items by yourself, just use Google Translate or any other translation app. I know it's a crime for people who are actually learning Chinese, I'm so sorry, but for non-Chinese speakers, it's the basic thing to do. And most of the time on TaoBao, it works. Here you see I tried to type Lolita bunny bag, it's just basic, and it just worked. For this another example, I typed Lolita blouse, lavender. Maybe it's too specific. Don't forget to click on show more. I don't know how you read that in Chinese, but it does not look like something you can click on. It will show you more items if you click on that. If you find something you like, copy the name of the item, paste it on Google, and voila, you've discovered a new shop through a new item. Of course, some lists already exist on Google. Just type something like TaoBao words for Lolita fashion, TaoBao vocab list, Lolita. I don't know. As I don't speak Chinese myself, I just don't want to try by myself to make a list, because it would be an insult, clearly. The only thing I can really do is like recognize some of the parts or some ideograms that are used both in Chinese and in Japanese. So sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, this part is also used in the Japanese kanji, so might be correct. What a useful skill. Tip: when you click on an item on the app, it will constantly give you this page to log in, go back and click again. Usually after 2-3 times, TaoBao will just give up. don't worry, it's important to know that for what's coming. So the pro tip is just use Google Translate or list. Lists are probably better. Here is the second part, that's probably what you're looking for here. You are so many to ask for this every day. I'm sometimes on the Facebook page, what is that dress? And a lot of people are posting. But the first question you may want to ask is, how do I know an item exists? That's weird saying like that, but first I use Chinese Lolita updates. Even if you don't use them as a shopping service, it's very useful. They share many pictures of the same item and most of the time they use the English version of the name of the shop. The second tool that I use is TaoBao Inspired. I know you hate it, but listen to me. They do have a lot of brands. Even if you don't use them to buy, they post very often a lot of new brands and new items, which is not the same thing for my Lolita dress or even Lolita wardrobe. I would say that some items are TaoBao Inspired exclusive, so you can use their pictures to do a reverse image search. You can also use AliExpress. You know that some people just resell on AliExpress what's on TaoBao. This is an example with a headdress I bought on AliExpress. I wanted to know what the shop was. I found the shop on the app and it seems coherent because it's only the same kind of accessories. So I guess it was the original shop. The biggest question is, once I find something I like, how do I find the original shop on TaoBao to send it to a shopping service? That's what you're wondering? Before everything, try to find the shop on Google. It may sound easy. It is. Here is my example. I found this blouse on TaoBao Inspired, just type the name of the brand. It worked because Doll's Party is a renowned shop. Be careful because TaoBao is really poorly referenced on Google, sometimes not even referenced at all. Other example here with Walnut Deer, I have a picture I like, the name of the brand is clearly written. If I type Walnut Deer TaoBao without space, it does not work. But if I leave a space, it does work. It's the first link on Google, so pay attention to that too. Sometimes it's the contrary also. So TaoBao is very visual. I don't think that speaking a bit of Chinese will help you so much, unfortunately. Because look here, I was on the app, I had the name of the shop, but one can't copy-paste it using TaoBao, so I had to write all the ideograms, paste them on Google, and I ended up with so many random things. Sometimes it works, but it's pretty much a waste of time, because the best technique is reverse image search. Just remember that, reverse image search. What I do is use Google for reverse image search and add the keyword TaoBao to make sure they will display only results connected to TaoBao. For example, with CC Cat, you can see it worked. I copied the picture link from TaoBao Inspired, pasted it on Google Image. I clicked on the link indicating TaoBao. So this is the one. I just put the mobile mode and reload it on desktop, and you can see it is the shop I was looking for. So sometimes it just does not work. To avoid wasting your time, just use the reverse image search on TaoBao. So in conclusion, the things you need to know is when you have a picture and you don't know what it is, just use the reverse image search on TaoBao. So you've got your app like that, you just click on the camera button, you select your pic on your phone, and voila, as simple as that. Most of the time it's a win, but sometimes it will not work. It's very rare, but it does happen. For example, a very dark solid dress, there are simply too many of this kind, or a Christmas dress with pom-poms. Many non-Lolita items are showing and it's not friendly for YouTube, so I'm not going to show them to you. Here is an example of this issue. If you have a black something with gold details, it's just too common. It is way easier for TaoBao to find things with unique designs, even if it's a 80% accuracy for me on the first try. On these whiskers from Dawn and Morning Dew, if I frame them like this, the algorithm is very limited to everything that is fluffy and pale pink, and if I rearrange the frame, it has 2 points to calculate, reaching 100% accuracy, because you see it's the first result. For example, with socks, if I take the full pic, no result. If I use a detailed photo from Divine Inspired, which is just another pic for the same product, and the first result is the one. So in some cases you may want to try with another picture. For example, you can go back to Divine Inspired or just on Lolita updates if possible. Insist until it works. If you don't have many pictures for a same item, just try to reverse search it on Google. If the item is too recent and is not returning any results, try another picture from another item from the same shop. Example, I've got my item and I search on Divine Inspired or Chinese Lolita updates. For this I use the search bar, and if you type the name of the brand you will find other items. Maybe they are less recent and not on pre-order, so TaoBao app is more likely to find it. If you don't find anything on this brand, maybe it's just too recent and just... So TaoBao is more and more annoying recently. Some days it just won't work. What I usually end up doing, like for example with Baldir, look at how many times I ended up on this freaking login page. How many times I've got the login pop-ups. It's just super annoying, and we will find a solution just after that. And then what now? Once you find your picture in the TaoBao app, what do? How do you obtain the link of your item or of your shop on a web page? Copy-paste the name of the item on Google. Why, you may ask? That's weird. So of course I tried the most logical thing, going on TaoBao, the website, and pasting the name of the item. Doesn't work. Your result will be 0 every time. So of course, once you've got your item, it's very difficult to go easily on the shop. So I'm on this shop, on the app, I just copy the name of the item, paste it on Google, first link, this is the one. I click on the shop button and I'm on the Diampu shop. You will know later why I call them the Diampu shop. So I always end up on the Diampu shop using this technique. Remember that. Once I've got the link to the item, I simply send it to my phone if I'm not on my phone but on my computer. It depends how I work. And once I'm on my phone, it's way easier to click on the shop name. Same advice, if sometimes an item is easy to find with TaoBao using reverse image search, sometimes it is not easy to find on Google when you just copy-paste the name of the item, so just try with another item from the same shop. It's always an issue with using several pictures to be able to find the item you want or the shop you want. Example with these shoes, I copied the name of the shoes I wanted, I pasted it on Google, and it gave me what the f***. I tried with another pair of shoes from the same shop, and it gave me palmier biscuit. What? As I'm pretty much determined, I tried with a black pair of shoes from the same shop, and I found it finally on Google, and I ended up on the Diampu page, and here is my shop. Same for the shop that is called Lee's Theater. I searched and did not find an item on Google, and as soon as I decided to go for another item from the same shop, I got the link. So a quicker way to do this on desktop is just you click on the shop and you hold and drag a bit to see the link appearing. You just have to remember the number or write it down somewhere and you have it. Maybe the easiest way is to be on your phone, open the link of the item on your phone and you will see just below you have the name of the shop. The reason I do things like that is you have to be connected to TaoBao, you have to create an account to do absolutely everything on this website or on this app. Because you see you have suspensions point on the top right corner, but everything else automatically leads you to the login page. And that's not what we want, because it's upsetting and we don't want this freaking login page. So something you might want to know now, on TaoBao you have different levels of popularity based on the success of the shop. Just in case you discover a shop by yourself and you are not sure if it's reliable or not. Helped by the website How to Tao, I'm able now to say, basically on the top left corner on TaoBao you will find drawings, and you can see it on Binary too. When they sell many products, a shop has first one heart. When they are 5, it's a diamond. Once they've got 5 diamonds, it's a crown, and when they got 5 crowns, it's a golden crown. Also have grades, it's out of 5, but you don't especially have to know the details because it's just a ranking. When the ranking with the drawings is too low, just give up. For example, Little Dipper and Two Alice are very famous, as you can see. So I would say that many shops are reliable, because if they are not, they will simply close. Now, third part. How do I visit TaoBao? How do I browse this damn website? You will have many issues browsing on TaoBao. So as I said, it kept changing to go to the login page, which is really annoying. TaoBao is not desktop friendly. The shops are either completely zoom in, either completely white, no picture showing. If you still want to use your computer, make TaoBao believe that you are on your phone. Here is a technique. Click right on the page, click inspect, and you will display elements for developers. And click on this logo here, which switches between phone view and desktop view. The website will think you are on your phone. You can reload the page and everything will work. That is to say, simulating a phone version. Reloading the page was completely useless. As soon as I inspect the page, it worked on Google Chrome. Same thing here on Firefox with the shoe shop, same concept. Inspect with a right click. Even more obvious with this one, not displaying anything. You think the link is broken? Try to inspect, refresh the page, and here it appears. If you look at the link of the page, you will see a .m. It stands for the mobile version of a website. You can erase it. Main issue with that technique is, as you are on the mobile version, you have the mobile focus, so you can't close anything. You can't close the pop-ups, and you can't do a right click. If I previously used this link on my phone, once I'm on my desktop, I just simply change .m. by .world. And usually it works. Third tip, if you have an ad blocker, it will probably block all the images because everything will be considered as ad. That's what happened with this shop. The images are in fact links, it just not work. As soon as I disabled ad block, it allowed me to click. It took me some time to understand that. So disable ad block and you will see better. Recently, I have noticed that TaoBao blocks even more desktop traffic, so you end up every time on the login page. Every time. The solution might be to use a shopping service, just to be able to visualize. Personally, I use Lolita Binary. You may want to try another one, but this one is really easy to use and it works with my techniques most of the time. How do I use my shopping service? So first thing, if you are on an item, it's the easy way. You just copy the link of your item and paste it on your shopping service. Or you will notice that if you are on a shop and not directly on an item, and if you click on the item to see better, 90% to end up on the login page again and again. And again and again and again. Sometimes I reload many times, sometimes it works, sometimes it's just, I just want to give up. Thus, the website will simply not let you see the item. Click right on the name of the item, click on copy the link of the item. Don't copy the link of the image, it just won't work. Or depending on your device, click on share symbol, paste it on Binary. You have two advantages of this technique. First, you have your item ready to buy, and you will have access to the shop like this. You will not have all the items, but if you keep your item list on the real TaoBao shop, you can still use this technique with the copy link of the item again and again and again. Vice versa, you can use Banner to find shops. For example, you like an item, you click on View TaoBao shop, and tada! Other example with Yona Studio, it won't let me go to the shop on desktop. I copy the link, go to Banner, paste the link, and I can click on Enter Store, and finally Seller Original Site. This link is supposed to take you back to TaoBao. So using Banner or any other shopping service is really a lifesaver. The sun is burning me alive. Another tip, I've noticed that there are 4 types of shop link on TaoBao. The most common one I would say is, so it's like this. It's a number here, it's 8 numbers. Every combination of number is unique. It is what I call the number link. The second type is the real name shop link. It's when you have the real name of the shop in the link. It's when the shop is usually famous enough to have its own name. Sometimes it's not the same name that the one which is displayed on the shop, because TaoBao shops change a lot, but it's very useful to find famous shops. And it's also very useful for Google referencement. Sometimes this kind of link is written on the picture, like for example, Dear Celine or Tiny Garden. Don't spend hours searching, don't even ask people on Facebook, the link is written. Not only the name of the shop, but sometimes the number link itself is written. They could not erase it on AliExpress, so I just found the original one here, you see. The third one is a mystery for me. It's the shop index link. It's like that, usually very long. That type of link, I usually have it when I click on a TaoBao link on Facebook and open it with my phone or a Facebook browser. You can see here there is an ID equal a number. I discovered lately that this link could be easily transformed into a number link by just clicking on the name of the shop on the top left corner twice. You see, I click here and the name of the shop changed into a number in the URL. This kind of link does not really exist, does it? Or it is just an alternative. I also discovered that there is a market link. You've got the word market on it, and when you click on it, you will see that there is a shop ID in the URL. So you just have to copy that shop ID and use it to make a regular number shop link. Sometimes you have a redirection issue if you try to access a shop and there is no way to find the correct URL because of the way the page is built. However, I stay on the login page and I just copy the URL here, which is hidden, and just access the page anyway. The last type of link is jump link. I already talked about it, now I'm gonna explain. Using the same link, you can have access to another interface of a shop. It's ugly, but it's very, very convenient. And your browser will not block this jumper link as much as the number link. Example with Yidra, I found the shop on Google because I know it was a famous one, so it's a jumper link indeed. The number is hidden after the word jumper. I just copy the number, I type the classic URL, I paste my number, or I type 1055430077.taobao.com, and here we are. You can keep the jumper link if you prefer. Other example with this headband from Divine Inspired. If they did not give the brand, it's difficult to find it. On the picture you can read the name in Chinese, but it won't help you to find the shop. I found it with reverse image search and it's the same name. Of course, we are on the jumper page, so write down the number or memorize it, then you have the shop number. So it's not really a type of link because you can transform any jumper link into a number link and vice versa. Shippuff is referenced by its jumper link. I change it into number link and put the mobile mode to see everything appears. Links are not broken, just it's, well, TaoBao. Another example on my list, you can find the shop for Love Nikki. See the number, I turned this into a jump link and ended up on this shop. Yes, it's uglier, I agree, but on desktop you can copy an item link and so send it to your shopping service, which you can't do on your mobile. Another example is Icing Utopia. Sometimes it's a bit vicious. It is blocked on your browser, so you can't go to the page, but you see the number on the Google listing, so literally copy the URL and access it anyway. Another example with Lodis. I don't know why, but the jump links works better for me on Firefox. I can easily browse through the shops. This is my routine and that's what I've been doing over the past 6 months. I check the Val-inspired or Chinese Lolita updates. I notice something I like. I download the image if I am on desktop, or I download or screenshot the image if I am on my phone. I upload it on TaoBao. I find the item, I click on it. As you are in the app, you can do anything. Copy the name, which is usually pretty unique and complicated, paste it on Google. Click on the shop. Sometimes I search for a shop for days using every technique and it simply doesn't return anything. But searching for another shop just next to it on the jump page, the page you have with the orange bar, I find it. Coincidence? That was the case for him. I was looking for the socks shop for a while and I found it just next to another socks shop I was looking for. So pay attention to this jump page when you search for something, because sometimes it will give you ideas. So this is what I did for months. Find an item, find the shop, find the link, find the item on Google, and you've got your shop. Find your item, find your shop, enjoy. And that's what I did again and again and again and again to build my list. And I'm not done now because TaoBao has a lot more to offer. As you may have seen, there are many tricks to know about. Maybe you have learned some on your own. For the last part, I want to talk about the tools that I've made to make your life easier, I hope. So yeah, that's the easy tool I made to make your life easier on TaoBao. So as you already know, I made a list that I put in the description bar. Many lists exist already, I know, but I won't feel legitimate to use and talk about this list if I didn't make it myself. Use the one you like and don't hesitate to use mine. And hopefully, if it's useful for you, it will probably be useful for somebody else, so don't hesitate to share it. You can search for a shop using Ctrl F if you already know the name of the shop, or you can just look at the things. I put some indications such as what style is it, but it's the main style, so you can search through. On many shopping services, you can't search by the name of the brand, but you can now use my link. For example, Vcastle does not work, but copy the link of my list, search for an item, copy the link of the item and paste it on Binder. The second tool I made is my Everyday Lolita. Not only for that, but it is part of it. As more and more people are interested in TaoBao, I thought it would be a good idea to include TaoBao tool in Mail. This is what I have in Mail. I try to enter every shop that are on my list. So go on Mail, select a shop you want, select an item, and you will have the link. Not only for TaoBao, of course, this thing exists for every brand. It is even more complicated to find a TaoBao link, so here it is. It's way more easier with Mail, so don't hesitate to share this piece of advice. So all the brands I've shared in this video are in Mail. During November and December, I just went through my list and added at least one item per brand. This is so useful to have items featured in Mail so you can rapidly see what kind of brand it is. I don't know if there is an existing website that features so many TaoBao Lolita brands, but you have it now, you have this. So I'm not saying this is the way to proceed, this is just my way. You can now peacefully start your TaoBao journey. Hope I have answered all your questions. If you do have more, don't hesitate to ask me. It's very important you share this video with other people that are also in trouble with TaoBao. Leave a comment, go to my Patreon. I wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful year, because it was the first video of the year. Yes. I wish you the best for 2022. Thank you so much for following me, and don't forget, be bitter but be sweet.